you're an artist and you hold your drawing tool like this, I actually recommend switching your hand grip to this for less hand pain.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of us looking at art tips on TikTok. Good old TikTok. I just can't seem to walk away.
Welcome to Artist Advice. No one ever told me, part 2. Stop drawing with lines.
Stop drawing with lines. Okay, that's gonna be our first video. Now, good God. I have a feeling this is gonna be an interesting video. But you know what guys, just before we get started, I wanna mention today's video sponsor, Schoolism. For those of you who don't know, Schoolism is a subscription service and they basically provide video lessons for artists. It's kind of like Netflix, but art. The instructors are artists who specialize in a variety of subjects, but the one that I wanna focus on today is Nathan Folks. Nathan's an environment designer and concept artist who's worked on films like How to Train Your Dragon, and he teaches courses like designing with color and light, environment design, landscape sketching, and watercolor and gouache. For full-time students, you'll get 50+ courses to keep you busy for a long period of time, and for those who are full-time artists, the subscription allows you to learn at your own pace. If you guys are interested in this, use the promo code SamDoesArts for $50 off your annual subscription. The promo code helps you save some money and supports me and my channel as well. Better get on that because this offer is only for February 2022. So shout out to Schoolism. Thank you for feeding me and my village. With that being said, TikTok. All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Welcome to Artist Advice. No one ever told me, part 2. Stop drawing with lines. I know that's kind of weird advice, but hear me out. When you are drawing a line, you are defining an area of contrast and point. And theoretically, in actual life, there are no lines. You just simply see the difference between one object to the other. But we artists take that and construct that in an artificial form. So if you're somebody who's only ever drawn lines ever, I highly recommend taking a painting class or understanding how painting works. The biggest thing that I've taken away from painting is understanding that shape language is much more important than line dynamic. And that in itself will help you construct much more natural and organic.
All right, man, you know what? I was about to go off on you in the first half, but I think you kind of saved yourself in the second half. What our boy is trying to say here is to, what is he trying to say? He's saying don't just draw with lines, but practice your shapes using other painting techniques and learn new skills that you could then bring back into your line art. But like, dude, come on. Like, why would you put the title as Stop Drawing with Lines? What if you find like a tiny little art baby who's like, oh, stop drawing with lines, and then they just swipe to the next video and they didn't even hear the point that you're trying to make, you know what? All right, comforting facts about famous artists. Let's go. What? What? Oh, yeah, this is like a typical one. That's sad. Yep. Artist struggles. That's fantastic. That's a great video. If any of you guys know your art history, fact check this and see if it's all true, but that's very comforting. If Da Vinci can procrastinate, then so can you.
If you're an artist and you hold your drawing tool like this, I actually recommend switching your hand grip to this for less hand pain. So traditionally how we hold the pencil is pretty tight and cramped because we're trying to stop it from falling out. See how the fingers curl unnaturally around it? But with this grip, your pencil rests between the digits and your thumb barely supports it, which means you don't have to hold it as hard. The traditional grip makes your wrist more bent, which actually is the huge cause of hand strain because your nerves are being pinched. When you switch to this other grip, your wrist is more straight and it's a lot more of a natural angle. I switched to this hand grip in 2018 and it took me around 3 months to adjust, but with enough practice, I was able to get back the amount of detail I used to draw with my old hand grip and with a lot less pain, so it was totally...
You know what, if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. But I don't think that grip like fundamentally changes too much about the angle of your wrist and how much you have to use your wrist. Just my personal opinion, but I don't think you necessarily need to change your entire grip just to avoid pain. One thing you could do during your everyday practice is to just constantly remind yourself to not choke the tip of the pen. Pretend your pen is alive. Pretend it has to breathe. Okay, so don't like crush it, but just put your fingers around it gently and move your hand like the waves of the ocean. That's what works for me personally, and I've never had wrist pain from drawing. Oh no, oh God. Can you show us a few ways on how to make your characters sexy? You know what? I'm gonna keep an open mind.
Shows a few ways on how to make your characters sexy. I got you. Let's get
Start it!
When I'm drawing males, I try to think about it in a upside down triangular shape. When I'm drawing females, I try to think of it in hourglass shape or like a bow shape. These are two shapes you want to keep in mind when drawing sexy characters. Drawing a female, you can draw a small waist and then you can add medium or large breast. As you can see, even though it's not even a finished drawing, you can already see the sexy. Pretty much the more muscle you add onto a male, more quote unquote sexy he is, I guess. Of course, the more curves you add to a woman character, the sexier she looks. But to be real, everyone has their own version of what they find sexy.
That's a minute of my life that I'm never gonna get back. You know what? I respect the grind, but this video is kind of pointless. Sexy is different to everybody. People are so different. You know, someone might like things with fur. Somebody might like things with horrible art advice to give to people you hate. Please don't do that.
Always make heavy and thick pencil outlines. The harder you press with colored pencils, the better they blend. Never use reference photos, never use guidelines. Just don't accept any sort of help. That's cheating.
Isn't it true that the harder you press with colored pencils, the more they merge into each other? Isn't that like a correct? Well, you have failed in your mission because you just gave good advice while trying to give bad advice. You get it together.
Here's the most important piece of art advice I'll ever give. If you try to make everything perfect, your mistakes will stick out and you'll worry about them. Starting loose and defining and polishing later rather than at the beginning will allow you to hide your mistakes in style. Never try to be perfect the first time. You'll only ever disappoint yourself.
I really, really like this one because believe it or not, once upon a time, I used to be the biggest perfectionist with my work. I would try to define every single edge. I would try to make sure there's no loose lines anywhere. I'd just like try to perfectly blend everything out. And it was so suffocating. And sometimes it's okay to realize that not every single line, every single mark has to be perfect. But as long as they work together in the grand scheme of things, that's really all you need. This one's for all my perfectionists out there. It don't gotta be perfect. The 3 worst art mistakes you might be making. Oh, yeah, hit me with it.
I'll show you 3 common mistakes all new artists make. My name is Jack. I'm a pro artist, and it's my goal to help you learn and grow. For those that make it to the end, I've included a bonus tip as well. These tips go super quick.
Oh, I see. Number 1 is not asking for feedback. Number 2 is trying to find your art style. Number 3 is trying to be a perfectionist. I think all 3 have merit to them. Feedback is important because sometimes you don't like a piece, but you can't really tell what's wrong with it. And somebody else with a fresh pair of eyes might be able to find that for you. Trying to find your art style is an interesting one because that's what everybody is doing nowadays. And he's saying instead of trying to find the art style, try to improve on your fundamentals. And I think that's actually a very, very good point. Art style comes with time and practice, and it's basically just the way you like to draw things, the way you like to move your hands, the way you like to select your colors. It's not something you can just flip a switch and be like, this is my style, that's gonna be me for the rest of my life. It doesn't happen like that. So be patient with yourself, okay? Make sure you're learning, make sure you're improving, and sooner or later, you're gonna find that little sweet spot that's kind of like an art style. Very good video, very short, very concise. Good job, well done. All right, advice from an artist, part 1. Let's go.
I remember when I was a kid, I was learning watercolor, and my teacher gave me a reference picture for a flower, and she assigned me homework, which was basically to copy the flower 5 times. I went home and painted 5 copies, which took around 7 minutes, and I showed my mom the finished works, and she ripped them all up. Not because they were bad, but because they weren't perfect, like the reference pictures.
What?
In tears, I painted 5 more, and she ripped up 5 more.
What?
And it kept going and going until 30 minutes later, she only ripped up 4 more. And 4 hours later, I had 5 perfect flowers. This was a lesson in practice. You can't stop when you're great. You keep going until it's perfect.
Need a break. I need a break. Couple things wrong with this. First of all, your mom ripping up your work. What is that BS? Like, what is that? You need to get a new mom. Get rid of this one. Go on Amazon. Look for a new mom. This one ain't it. And please leave a bad review for this one while you're at it. But I can't believe that. How's a mom gonna rip up the kid's work? I'm not even a parent, but that's the worst way to teach a kid a lesson. What is that? Are you out of your mind? And second of all, it's not about perfection. Didn't we just talk about this? It's about challenging yourself, facing your fears, learning new things, growing as an artist. You never reach perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. Listen, I knew from the moment we started this video that this was gonna be an interesting one, and it's been an interesting one.
This is a fun exercise for young artists. I do it with my own students with scribbles or ink blots or blown ink on paper. You just put some stuff on paper and then justify it. You can use a pen, and like this artist does with multimedia, so a little bit of paint, a little bit of pen, a little bit of everything that she has handy. It's a great way to kind of work your artistic muscles and kind of see what can be teased out of an image. Sometimes you'll accidentally fall into some Freudian psychology with what you...
Whoa, you're telling me she made all of that from some hand smudges? The imagination on this one, wow. You know what, that's kind of cool. But this guy's kind of like doing what I'm doing right now, but just on TikTok. Maybe I should do this too. You know what guys, go follow Sam Does Arts on TikTok. I used to make like process videos, but I don't really want to do that anymore. My new resolution is gonna be to make some stupid TikTok videos. Common mistakes beginner artists make. This is for all of you beginners out there. Let's go. I like that. Drawing really relies on a lot of hand-eye coordination and steadiness of your hand, so it's gonna take a lot of practice, but trust me guys, just do those movements over and over and over and get your hand used to moving in such ways, and those lines are gonna be able to look a lot more confident. Good job.
I finally found a way to prove all of you wrong. So when you're starting a small business, you usually don't have employees because you can't pay them yet. You're your own business manager, accountant, lawyer, but every brand needs some kind of art for brand recognition, whether it be photography or like a logo or a banner or business cards, but most people don't know how to make art. Therefore, art is a very specialized and valuable skill because most people don't know how to make art and can't do it themselves.
That's so good. Look, listen. Well done. You know, this is one of the things that really bothers me is when people undervalue their art, or when I see other people undervaluing the work of artists. If you're capable of making art, your work and your time is worth something. You really should never work for free. This is what I've been taught in design school, and it makes so much sense. If this is something that you're going to be doing for a living, if this is something that you're relying on to pay your bills, why should this be worth any less than what an accountant does? You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't go up to an accountant and be like, yo bro, I'll pay you an exposure, I'll show you on my IG and everything, I'll give you credit, but like, can you do my taxes, bro?
Send this to an artist to make them happy.
Oh. Whew, I feel so satisfied right now. That was so good. My God. For those of you who are wondering, how is that even possible? Well, there's a technique in traditional painting where you dip your brush in a certain color, and then you mix a different color on the tip of that brush. And then when you apply that brush, your brush strokes have a natural transition from the tip to the end of the brush. That's how that was done. And it's really cool. See, if we pause this video right here and we zoom in on the brush, that's exactly what I just explained. The tip of the brush is purple, while the back end of the brush is red. That's how you get this nice bounce light look on the grapes, but it's so satisfying, my goodness. This sound gets me every time. It's this sound. Oh man, so what a roller coaster ride of emotions today. We had some highs, we had some lows, and we ended off on a very good note. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hope you guys learned something new from this, and if not, I hope you were entertained. Guys, go follow Sam Does Arts on TikTok. I'm gonna start posting stupid stuff. It's over, guys. Game over. I've been converted. This is it. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, do consider subscribing to my channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video. Oh, my knees. Oh God, my knees. Pretty good. But you know what? 2022, I'm gonna start posting some TikToks. See, what I used to do on TikTok was basically like those short clips of like you putting down a brushstroke during your process, and then like in the end, reveal the final piece. It's like a very aesthetically pleasing, very pretty thing. And you know, I don't show my face, I don't talk in the videos, I just put it to some music, and it's like a nice, aesthetically pleasing, calming little short video. I mean, like, it's nice, but it's a little bit restricting, and I want to do stupid stuff. Maybe I'll do this, but on TikTok too. Maybe I'll show the reference and show the final piece. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Join me on TikTok, guys. We'll figure it out. And why are you still here? Don't you got places to be, people to see? But instead, you out here hanging with me. Bars. Testing, 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 testing.